Tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan erupted violently after the Taliban launched a large-scale cross-border assault in what they called a revenge operation. Afghan officials claimed the attack was retaliation for recent Pakistani airstrikes inside Afghan territory. In the overnight assault, Taliban forces reportedly targeted multiple Pakistani military posts along the border, claiming to have killed over 58 Pakistani soldiers, injured dozens more, and seized several outposts. Pakistan disputed the numbers, but confirmed casualties and responded with heavy artillery shelling on Afghan positions. Major crossings such as Torkham and Chaman were shut down immediately, halting trade and civilian movement. Local residents along the border described hours of continuous gunfire, explosions, and rising smoke from military installations. The incident has intensified long-standing disputes over militant groups like the TTP, which Pakistan accuses Afghanistan of sheltering. Meanwhile, Kabul insists it is defending its sovereignty after repeated Pakistani violations. Diplomatic efforts from regional players like Qatar and Saudi Arabia have begun, but fears of a broader military escalation remain high. With both governments sticking to their narratives and the border now on high alert, the situation has become one of the most serious confrontations between the two nations in recent years. The border, already tense, has now transformed into a militarized zone. Major crossings such as Torkham, Chaman, Angoor, Adda and Ghulam Khan were sealed immediately, disrupting trade, fuel supplies, and the daily movement of thousands of civilians. Local residents on both sides described panic, blackouts, and the deployment of reinforcements as military helicopters and armoured vehicles moved into position. The Taliban leadership issued stern warnings that any further violation of Afghan sovereignty would be met with even stronger retaliation. While Pakistani officials accused Kabul of harbouring the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, a militant group responsible for years of deadly attacks inside Pakistan. Diplomatic channels have been activated, with countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar and China calling for restraint, amid fears the conflict could widen into a prolonged border war. Analysts say this clash is not an isolated skirmish, but the result of years of mistrust, unresolved border disputes, and competing security interests. The situation remains highly volatile, with both nations on high alert and international observers warning that any misstep could drag the entire region into deeper instability. Civilians, traders, and border communities are now bracing for what may come next, as neither side appears ready to back down. In the aftermath of the assault, both governments have intensified their military readiness. Pakistani army units have been repositioned along sensitive border sectors, while the Taliban has mobilized additional fighters to reinforce captured posts and monitor Pakistani movements. Intelligence sources suggest that Taliban commanders have instructed border units to prepare for a possible second wave of engagements, especially if Pakistan launches airstrikes or ground incursions in retaliation. Local villages near the frontier have reported evacuations, with families seeking shelter away from potential conflict zones. Human rights observers warn that if the situation escalates, thousands of civilians could be displaced, further straining the already fragile humanitarian landscape in the region.